The Alurin Bug Standstill matchup. Michael's deck is a little bit different here in that he's incorporating a new hit out of Return to Ravnica in Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, a card that we did see earlier today, Michael
Yes.
playing. He is playing, of course, an interesting deck. He has Crop Rotation, he has Jace the Mind Sculptor, Liliana the Veil, a bunch of removal, and 3 standstills in his deck as well. A couple copies of Counterspell, a couple copies of Life from the Loam, Mishra's Factories, Wastelands, that sort of thing. So his deck is pretty unique in what it does.
Yep, and he has the standard set of disruptive elements, some spot removal, some permission, and definitely a very grindy control deck. I actually think Martin has a pretty significant edge in the matchup, at least game 1, as I do not think that Michael has neither sufficient pressure nor a sufficient amount of disruption to really effectively combat how streamlined Martin's deck is.
Yeah, I think Martin's going to have a good amount of time to, get set up. There are some counter spells here that he's going to have to be able to fight through, but with Gitaxian Probe and Cabal Therapy in his deck list, I think he's going to be able to do that pretty well.
Yes. And it looks as though Michael is taking a mulligan. And Michael is, as the 4 seed in this matchup, in the 4-5 bracket, Michael is going to be on the play. Actually appears both players are mulliganing.
Now, Martin's deck list, as again, we did see him earlier today as well. Patrick, you have that in front of you. Learn an interesting combo deck, as we did see Martin win earlier today. Tough to break down at this point. We'll probably, I don't know if you want to break it down as we go, as he probably goes through the iteration of it one time during this match.
Sure.
But it does work with, the combo is a 2-card combination of Learn and Imperial Recruiter.
Yeah, Imperial Recruiter gets the rest of your Imperial Recruiters, which gets Dreamstalker, which gets more Imperial Recruiters, which gets Cavern Harpy, which gets more Imperial Recruiters through your Dreamstalker, which eventually gets a what's the name of that guy?
Parasitic Strix.
Parasitic Strix. I was going to say Baleful Strix, but no, that's not. Parasitic Strix to eventually kill your opponent. But for all intents and purposes, he needs Alurin plus Imperial Recruiter to win the game.
Yeah, to even get the fireworks started. So that's what Martin will be trying to accomplish. The tools to accomplish that include Brainstorm, Gitaxian Probe, and Intuition. 1 Eternal Witness as well to be able to reuse those resources. So we're going to see basically if Martin can put together the combination in time, or if Michael is going to be able to stop him from doing such.
Yep. I mean, Michael needs a reasonably quick clock and a lot of disruption. And that's a tough thing to cobble together.
Both players taking a look at their openers. Opening 6 now, as they've both taken a mulligan, it looks like.
So an angle that Michael has in this matchup, which might be one of his ways of going about winning, is a bunch of Wastelands plus a Life from the Loam. The Alurin deck is very non-basic heavy, and needs to get to 4 mana and actually cast his signature card. So,
as we see, Mishra's Factory, and Michael leads off with. Taking a look at the rest of his hand, there is a Liliana the Veil in there. There's some other blue cards. Not sure if there's a second land, let alone a colored source of mana in his hand, but there is now.
There wasn't before, there is now. So I assume this is going to be an Underground Sea and a Standstill. Deathrite Shaman, obviously a nice addition to Standstill decks. Just having additional 1-drops, places where you can feel comfortable playing your Standstill, or putting your opponent under pressure to have to break it early.
Yeah. And we are going to see said Standstill. You might see a Force of Will here from Martin. That's one of the ways that he can fight out of this. But it looks like Michael also has a Force of Will at the ready, so we'll see exactly what's going to happen. And just Standstill's going to resolve.
I would probably, even if I did have Force of Will in Martin's position, I probably wouldn't use it here on the Standstill. Because Michael actually has very few relevant draws in his deck in terms of disruption. He can sort of take his time building up a hand, or just break it now, being fairly confident that Michael doesn't actually have a lot of significant draws in his deck. I mean, the Force of Wills matter, the counter spells matter, the rest of it is just, spot removal that doesn't really matter, some planeswalkers and creatures that aren't, really fast enough to be significant, I think. Yeah.
You're going to see Life from the Loam here from Martin. He's searching out his basics. You're going to see a Standstill get broken here, but he's searching out basics because he does know that Michael does have a bit of a Wasteland engine here with Life from the Loams in his deck list as well.
Yep. And actually, Michael just found his Loam.
It looks like Life from the Loam's going to resolve for Martin. I may have to do some discard. Nope, looks like he's good to go.
We have Verdant Catacombs here. The Bug deck has always had pretty sensitive mana for a deck with Wasteland and Factory and, you know, double blue cards and black spells. Cobbling together Lurai colored mana is a bit of a struggle, but with that Verdant Catacombs off the top, Michael should be able to piece everything together.
Eades just going to pass a turn here. Martin, who's a basic island to the front. You're also going to see an Intuition.
Stuff Michael needs to generate some sort of clock to maximize his counter spells to, you know, force Martin to actually start resolving things. But you know, it's going to take a long time for Michael to actually kill Martin because his pressure is things like Mistress Factory.
We are going to see a Brainstorm here. Stand Still, Underground Sea, and a Force of Will drawn there from Michael.
And that Force of Will is a very significant draw because, again, he has a finite, significant disruption elements.
So Michael's going to figure out exactly what he needs to put back and what kind of game plan he wants to establish. Also, there are some cards here that he may consider just shuffling away there with the Verdant Catacombs to get the full advantage from Brainstorm.
I mean, I assume soon he's going to try to stick a standstill and start attacking with the Factory. Going to break the Catacomb.
So Michael's going to go down to 18 now from the Verdant Catacombs. I think that will be his line of play probably. Just set that up.
Yeah, I suppose he could... and in response to the fetch land, Michael is going to try to stick his Intuition. Now, part of the reason that Michael may want to consider forcing this, he's not going to, is he may end up just having to discard to his standstill anyway.
Sure.
So if he can get 2 cards out of his hand, it means that he's way more likely to just be able to keep all of his spells from the standstill. But I believe the only blue cards in his hand are 2 Force of Wills and a counter spell, and he's loath to discard any of those.
I like Martin's approach here. He's going to go with the Cabal Therapy approach to start breaking up some of this control that Michael's trying to establish.
So now every creature that Martin draws is... I mean, it's not going to take Martin much of a setup to be able to rip apart Michael's hand and then just go off. And this is why it's critical for these decks in the decks like Michael's in the combo matchups to have some way to actually end the game pretty quickly or lock the game up pretty quickly, because stuff like this happens where you sit around too long and someone cobbles together enough Cabal Therapies or overwhelms your mana in a single turn, and it doesn't really matter how many cards you've drawn.
And we are going to see the standstill here. It looks like he's going to keep open counter spell this turn.
Yeah, this is rough though because he's going to be able to break the standstill with a Therapy and presumably name Force of Will, and it's really, I mean, even if he counters the initial Therapy, any creature turns it back on.
Yeah. The counter spells this game are basically going to end up going towards Cabal Therapy instead of the actual cards that are good for Martin.
Yeah.
Allurin, any of his creatures, you know, the next Intuition, things of that nature.
And there's an Allurin.
Cabal Therapy going upstairs.
So break the standstill.
We see
Brainstorm. That's very good here.
Mistress Factory, and a Liliana of the Veil.
I mean, it's rough because he can't Brainstorm and Counterspell this turn.
Yeah. Well, actually cast the card Counterspell.
Yeah, correct. Yes, yeah. Correct.
He can Force of Will if he'd like. But again, that's 2 cards, and probably 2 relevant cards. You know, obviously the Force of Will being 1, and the blue card that he's removing being 2.
I mean, I think you had to Brainstorm and hide your 2 Force of Wills, since it's the most likely card for Martin to name initially.
I mean, it's tough, honestly. You know how you want to set this up because you think he's going to name Force of Will, of course, but now you get to play the game inside the game here because I mean, with the Brainstorm, it's pretty easy to say, well, he would put away he would put away his Force of Wills, so that can, you know, you can play the game inside the game and keep your Force of Wills. do something like that.
But the risk is, I mean, the risk is huge.
I mean, it is big. It depends on what level you put your opponent on.
Especially now that he's drawing a second brainstorm, it's like the priority should just be not to lose any of your valuable permission. You can get him back into the guessing game here. You know, if you flashback the therapy this turn. So with that being, I definitely would have just hit the 2 forces now.
Let's see, Martin, considering his options, not sure what he wants to name. He's kind of going through the iterations of what cards are important, what cards aren't important right now. Let's see, Martin's still in the tank.
Yeah.
Not quite sure. Again, all things considered, I'm not quite sure what I would name in Martin's position right now. He does have access to the deck list, but the numbers are spread out pretty good in Michael's deck list. There aren't a lot of 4s here. He only has 3 forcibles, for example. 2 spell snares. Abrupt Decay doesn't really matter too much, but only 2 counter spells. 1 Vendilion Click, 4 Jaces, 3 Lilianas. So the numbers are spread in such a way that it is actually pretty difficult to hit with Cabal Therapy.
Yeah. And of course, this brainstorm adds this huge guessing game element that you just alluded to as well.
So let's see, what did he name there?
It doesn't appear like we hit. Yeah, he named Jace the Mind Sculptor, which Michael hid away with his brainstorm. So very impressive play by Michael.
And the issue here that you just brought up a moment ago is that there's another brainstorm in his hand too. So if Martin does attempt to, flashback therapy this turn, well, cast brainstorm, go hiding. Good luck guessing again.
Yep. Well, I think now that you know that there's a brainstorm in his hand, you just can't. You can't therapy again this turn.
Sure.
You have to wait for another shot at it.
I was thinking if like someone knew wanted to go to the 3 dinners.
All right, so Michael now proceeding with his turn. He can resolve an intuition, or he can try to resolve an intuition.
See what else Martin wants to do this turn. He hasn't even played a land yet. He did just lead with Cabal Therapy. He's just thinking to himself, how am I going to fight through all of this permission?
I mean, his best route is still the therapies, because he can try to set up a turn where he just gets a name force and counterspell and then go.
It's just how to get to that road.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I'm thinking quite a bit, and he's just going to pass back.
Yep.
And there's the Jace the Mind Sculptor that Michael did hide.
Yeah, having broken the standstill this turn, it makes some sense for Martin to just simply say go since Michael will have to end up discarding.
Yeah, I agree. Because I always see a Jace the Mind Sculptor here from Michael being put on the stack. Martin probably considering, am I going to run this intuition into a forcible plus removing a card, because he does know the contents of Michael's hands right now.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you just have to... the game plan for Martin's end at this point has to be just going off of the therapies in his graveyard in one shot.
Yeah. Let's see. Michael Fate Seals Martin. Martin does have a fetch land, so you can make that relatively irrelevant.
Yeah.
And again, Martin needs to be careful with what lands he searches out just because of the Wasteland package available in Michael's deck. Because he is seeing so many cards a turn, it is likely that he will find one.
Yep. I'm surprised it didn't really look like Martin looked at what card was left on top of the deck, which is surprising to me because what Michael left on top could give you some information about what reactive cards he has access to.
Yeah, it's definitely information. It gives you information on how he's thinking about what cards are important from your deck as well.
You gotta guess that one.
And so Intuition is going to resolve. Now that's interesting as well. And he's going to go Imperial Recruiting.
Well, it's kind of like there's always just more important. Well, it's probably that we got really off.
So yeah, Martin trying to assemble the therapy, flashback therapy plus a learn in one turn setup.
He's going to go grind him down. He's basically got to power through these counter spells. He needs to get, he needs to make it so Michael needs to start countering stuff. As we see Michael discard a Life from the Loam. Pretty good discard.
Yeah. That's why if I was in Michael's position, I would have strongly considered forcing the Intuition. Just because with those therapies looming, it's not clear you're going to get a shot to actually use all of your forcibles and counter spells. And whatever Intuition gets certainly will lead to something you have to force down the line at some point anyway.
Yeah.
Although I guess I don't know if he has a blue card that he doesn't care about.
We're gonna learn
Yeah, he
right
has a
out
brainstorm. He had a free blue card.
there. Martin just right in the face of all this counter magic,
Yep.
going for it. But again, we know that Michael has a force, a blue card, and X. Now he has another force, another blue card. He only had like force plus blue card there, so I'm actually okay with Martin running this out there because it actually did force Michael to, and we knew he had the force, but find another blue card for it. So we see him remove a spell snare. Martin got a force back, removing a Dreamstalker. A little fight over the learn here.
Yep. Because he knows that his information is that Michael only has one force to will. He's willing to try to give this a shot.
Yeah. And so the force battle happens. Cards are going to go to the graveyard. Michael's going to end up taking 2. Martin's going to end up taking 1. Now Martin is just left with Imperial Recruiter and 2 lands.
Yep. Now you're more of an Allure expert than I am, but what if instead of that play, that he has force plus blue card, what if he just casts? What if he starts off by just leading with Imperial Recruiter?
So the danger there is, let's say that he leads off with Imperial Recruiter and Michael forces it, and let's say the fight over Imperial Recruiter is lost by Martin. He's left with 1 Imperial Recruiter in his deck to draw to go off with. That's the scary part because he's Intuition 2 away, and he has 1 left, and then he has a Eternal Witness left.
Sure.
So that's the danger there.
From Martin's perspective, I wish I could have gotten a creature into play first before you tried to go off.
Sure.
So you could therapy on Force of Will or Counterspell, and then there's a very good chance that you can push through from there. What you're saying is a very real risk, though, because my plan involves recruiting for Imperial Recruiter, and then you're on pretty fragile footing because if something weird happens and you lose your recruiters, then you can't really go off anymore.
Yeah, and then you have to really cobble together a win.
Yeah, you have to. You have your one Harpy and your one Strix or whatever.
Yeah, you have to go through some strange means to win a game, which has been done before, but it's difficult.
You still have Eternal Witness too. I mean, you could try to cobble it back together.
Yeah, no, it's not impossible.
Yeah.
See Martin draw a Brainstorm, his first. At least 1 land, looks like possibly 2. See a learn there as well, so Martin gonna probably try to go for it again here and gonna run to a brick wall. We'll see if he's gonna go for it this way or if he's gonna go for the Imperial Recruiter route.
I mean, he has no choice but to go for it because Liliana is attacking his hand, so we can't hold up a saturation of.
Well, I mean, he has 3 cards in his hand. His hand right now is.
Oh, he has a land Imperial Recruiter.
And a learn. Yeah. Martin says, how about this? And Michael goes, how about this? Jace's a good card.
I know. I think we're going to be in Fate Seal plus Liliana attacking our hand semi-lock.
Yeah. And one thing that you'll notice is Martin did not search for Taiga, so he can't actually cast Imperial Recruiter right now. But alternatively, like I feel like, okay, so he has a Misty Rainforest. Now he's actually opening himself up to discarding the Imperial Recruiter in his hand. But that's part of the reason that turn, it's easy for us, and especially me in the booth, to say, well, you know, he should cast Imperial Recruiter and try to therapy. But Michael had used 2 Force of Wills. He used most of his counter magic, so he actually had to brainstorm in a forceful blue card there, and he did.
Sure. I just feel that, given that, you know, you've slogged through these 2 standstills, that when Martin Intuition for the 3 copies of Cabal Therapy, the game plan was all going to be about trying to set up that one big turn.
Yeah.
And go from there. Instead, his 1 therapy bricked, and then I didn't feel like there was enough of an effort made to like try to get those therapies back into play.
Sure.
And now we're really seeing, because, you know, the Intuition was basically just allowed Michael to Ancestral, and there was no follow-up to it, that he's really getting buried under the weight of all the standstills that got broken.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder, you know, if he's going to Intuition for Cabal Therapy, you know, the goal is to use all those Cabal Therapies first before you try to do your big finish.
I just assumed that's where he was going that game.
Yeah, me too.
Like, he couldn't really outcard him anymore, and so what he was going to do is just try to fire off 1 big turn. And now we're just in, you know,
We're in a poor situation. You see Martin's going to Dredge Life from Loam.
so Loam gives him a way to kind of try to build back. Like, it gives him some protection from Liliana. So now he can, for example, you know, Eternal Witness starts becoming something that can maybe put his machine back together here.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason that I actually don't like him playing that land that turn and opening himself up to Liliana, making him discard the Imperial Recruiter, because he does have Loam in his graveyard, so he can just discard the land, because who cares about the land?
Right. And unfortunately, Deathrite Shaman is going to cut off a lot of his...
The other Shaman's going to cut off a lot of things right now.
Yeah.
It cuts off Witness.
He can start working on the therapies if he draws into the counters. I mean, yeah. It's just bad news.
And as we see Michael dredge a life from his own, one thing that we haven't even seen, or even talked about, is that, oh yeah, there's a Jace the Mind Sculptor in play too.
Right. Sort of lost in the shuffle of all this.
So we see Diabolic Edict, a land, and a Wasteland flipped over to Life from the Loam. We see a Life from the Loam cast here. Going to bring back 3 lands for Michael.
Yeah, I mean...
We were just sitting here talking for the last 30 minutes about where Chris was.
Whoa, what? Oh, he's chasing. I'm sorry, Chase. I was like,
Easy there, Tiger.
whoa, all right. We're good.
We're sitting here talking with Rob, and I'm like, yeah, I haven't seen Chris in 3 hours. He's supposed to be down there sleeping in. Yeah.
All right. So we're just going to Liliana.
And in for 4. It's going to put Martin down to 5. Deathrite can put him down to 3. And then 2 attacks could put it to lethal.
Yep.
So, not really sure how Martin's going to get himself out of this situation.
Yeah, it does not seem possible. From 7 mana and 1 card. Let me think about it. What could we brainstorm into?
Yeah, I suppose that is a card. It is Brainstorm after all.
I mean, we can brainstorm into Allure and Imperial Recruiter, right?
Yeah.
And then we get to go. All right.
What's this one?
No.
Dreamstalker. Yeah. So that one's not going to do it, unfortunately.
All right, so Michael takes game 1.
And we're going to be coming back to the booth here for you guys because it is time for another special giveaway. We're going to be giving away 3 months of premium to our viewers here watching the top 8 of the Legacy Tournament here. Patrick Phillips, Patrick Sullivan. We got a question here, and I know it's my turn. You're thinking again.
No, I think it's my turn.
No, it's my turn.
I did have the finals question yesterday.
Yeah.
Although I did actually have a reasonable question.
I have one too.
Okay, go for it.
So, are you proud of me?
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
want to hear it.
So, in Martin Goldman-Kirst a Learn deck, he uses a interesting card to deal his opponent the damage necessary to win the game. Give you a little bit of hint. It's an artifact creature. That's the best hint I'll give you. But if you do know the answer to Martin Goldman-Kirst's victory condition, or win condition, excuse me, tweet the answer to @SCG Premium. Excuse me, hashtag SCG Premium. Don't want to get that confused.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Hashtag SCG Premium. Again, the question, Martin Goldman-Kirst in his Learn deck uses an interesting creature to deal the necessary points of damage or life loss to win the game with his Learn combo deck. If you know the name of the creature, I'll give you a hint, it's an artifact creature. Tweet the answer to hashtag SCG Premium, and you'll win 3 months of premium. So there you go. Good question, bad question.
I'm trying to think if it was better or worse than mine. It's in the same ballpark.
I think that's a pretty good question.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
That's fine.
Tough
Mine was
crowd.
gonna just be like what Portal 3 Kingdom rare.
Yeah, mine's better. That's not even
I'm
close.
not sure that's true.
I don't think it's particularly close, actually.
I mean,
My card is unique. You don't see it very often. It's
How many Imperial Recruiters you see over the course of your lifetime?
at least 4, which is more than which is more than the card I'm talking about. Mine is a
you
one
drafted
of.
that format.
Did I? I don't remember. Anyway, we're gonna go to the sideboard. I'm not gonna concede this argument. We're gonna go to
understand.
the sideboard here. You have Martin's deck list in front of you.
Yep.
Martin's gonna be on the play this particular game. So what can he do?
We can bring in 4 Thought Seizes if he wants to double down on his discard, and that's really it as far as I can tell. I mean, he's got all these utility creatures that don't seem too productive. Lawan, a Harmonized Sliver, a Peacekeeper, an Aethersworn Canis, a Jailer, a Kataki. He has a Supreme Verdict. Not sure what's up with that. 2 Fire Spouts and 2 guys who go for the throat. So the Thought Seizes, as far as I can tell, basically the only live card here.
Sure. I think those definitely are going to come in. As far as Michael's concerned, going to be on the draw this particular game. Looking at crop rotation, seeing if you can find anything awesome besides Tabernacle if your creatures are dead, but I don't think so.
Yeah, he has a Bajuka Bog, which is not very good.
No, so nothing. I don't think those are going to come in. Caracas, no. Spell Pierce, maybe. Does counter Intuition. Can also counter Allure, Allure being a 4-mana spell on the main phase. Engineer Explosives, I don't think so. Hydroblast counters Red Spell, no. Null Rod, no. Vendilion Click, most likely. So
Yeah.
a couple cards that he can board in here. It looks like 2 Spell Pierce and a Vendilion Click. Other than that, though, I don't think too much is going to be joining us here from Michael's deck.
And he's got plenty of spot removal to cut here. So.
Yeah, Abrupt Decay, an easy card to board out.
Yeah. Engineered Explosives, Stanky,
Diabolic Edict.
stinks,
Yeah, Dark Blast.
stinks.
Yeah.
It stinks.
Yeah, just not too much here. Not too much at all. I can actually see him, excuse me, boarding in an additional land, like just to ensure that he hits his land drops, like boarding in this Caracas. I mean, I think it's better than like these actual spot removal spells that don't do anything.
I mean, I think there's enough utility in crop rotation where you could bring that in. Go get a factory and go beat downs, or go get a wasteland, and when he's exposed, it's definitely better than destroy target creature version 3.0 or whatever
Yeah,
it's got in its deck.
Sure, sure. So we're gonna see both players sideboard here. It seems like a difficult matchup for Martin, actually.
Actually, I mean, I still like his side. I mean, things. Michael's draw was quite good. I mean, he had a timely permission and brain sources to protect himself from the therapy, and like I said, I think there could have been a way for Martin to better exploit the Cabal therapies that he had intuition for, which could have changed the game as well.
Okay.
But I mean, certainly, Michael's draw was very good that game. He presented a lot of disruptive elements.
Yeah, super good draw.
Yeah. Yeah, these planeswalkers are rough too. I mean, Michael's got a lot of. I mean, Jason's fine, obviously, but Liliana's also. There's a lot of combo decks where Liliana's +1 is pretty awesome, because they need a density of different stuff to go off. But I mean, we're just Imperial Recruiter and Allure, and we go.
Yeah,
So you can't. It's very hard to just grind the deck down.
Yeah, that's really true.
But if you get some early Thought Seizes and Inquisitions or Hymns or whatever, Liliana against a deck like Storm or Charbelcher can actually be very good, because they just need they need to amass a density of things. But
Yes, Liliana, and interestingly enough, Liliana is a card that can be cast on turn 2 for Michael's deck, so it can really actually start shredding the hand right away because of Deathray Shaman.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a unique thing being brought to the table as well.
All right, and we're off.
Verdant Catacombs for Martin, bringing himself down to 19. We'll see if he's going to go basic or non-basic route again to try to dodge Wasteland. We're going to see basic, we're going to see a Swamp, and we're going to see Thoughtseize.
So we're looking at Vendilion Click.
Looks to be a Flusterstorm. Yep, Flusterstorm, Liliana of the Veil, Wasteland, Misty Rainforest, and it looks like 2 Verdant Catacombs.
Yep.
A little bit surprised to see Flusterstorm here.
Again, he's got so much creature removal that, you know, Flusterstorm's not at its peak here, but it's, you know, it's better than Dark Blast.
Sure, sure.
I mean, it certainly it's gone down a lot in value now that Martin is aware of its presence, certainly. So I believe will be between Click. I mean, without seeing Martin's hand, the most threatening card to me probably is Vendilion Click, but it depends a lot on the composition of Martin's hand.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did like the Walking Fans guys did like a bunch of like sketch stuff.
So Martin just recording the contents of Michael's hand here.
I feel like it took us too long to get on there, but just like the
And we are going to select Vendilion Click.
Bye-bye.
side of the deck, but also the you guys got camera moving with it. Probably good.
And this could mean, you know, that,
I mean, that's just so great to be able to watch. That's
you know, that could, you know, mean that Martin does have a Cabal Therapy as well.
Yep. It would be awesome for him to have a Cabal Therapy since Michael's just on his second copy of Liliana of the Veil.
That would be a timely draw.
Yeah.
Martin draws a card. It is
Underground Sea.
We'll see him.
His hand is just lands, Dreamstalker, Force of Will.
I'm not sure if there's an alert hide in there or not.
Thought I saw an alarm. I could be wrong.
See a factory. Drawn from Michael.
Yeah, there's an alarm. He's got it.
Okay. Could second and turn to thin his deck, but I don't really love that play.
Yep.
Tropical Island, another drawn again.
Yeah, the value of thinning seems low compared to the upside of what happens if you draw a Brainstorm and you keep an extra shuffler.
Yeah. Martin passing back.
And again, neither of us are going anywhere for a while, so.
That's true. Michael's going to play a factory. We'll see if he's going to play Liliana here.
Well,
nope, not even a Liliana. A little bit of a surprise there. Bluffing some counter magic here.
ooh, we just drew Eternal Witness.
That's a good draw. I mean, it's interesting now because it lets Martin can choose to take the Eternal Witness plus Thoughtseize route. Alternatively, he can just slam a Lurin. He has a Forcible with a Dreamstalker, and if anything goes wrong, he can just go, all right, witness it back.
Yep. Does Michael has no way to actually get a Lurin off the table once it's there, right?
Yeah, no way at all once it's in play. He has 2 copies of Engineering Explosives in his main deck, and he has 3 different colors of mana, and Deathrite Shaman can, oddly enough, produce a 4th color of mana.
So, yeah, I mean, but that's a stretch.
Yeah.
Getting the Lurin in play seems valuable.
Now, you're not going to see anything like Oblivion Ring or Detention Sphere or Crozing Grip.
Yeah, the issue here is that, you know, Martin doesn't really want to get into a counterspell war with Michael when the only reactive tool that Martin knows about is a Flusterstorm that's otherwise quite poor.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to get in a position where, you know, he counterspells and you don't want to force back because he's got that Flusterstorm in his hand that you're confident you can play around otherwise.
Sure. So we see Michael drawing a card. He draws a Deathrite Shaman. Interesting. I feel like, to me, it seems like Martin should have played. I feel like Martin should have played something that turn, either Eternal Witness to get back the Thoughtseize to see what's going on as we see Deathrite Shaman, or slamming down a Lurin and basically saying, "Have you drawn a counterspell yet?"
Yeah, I mean, I would have been happy to go, for example, go Eternal Witness, get back Thoughtseize, don't cast it that turn.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about Flusterstorm.
Yep.
And then if he's got a live counter, you can take it and then slam your Learn the following turn.
Yeah.
And Michael has to have drawn very well in the intermittent turns here for him to be able to answer that sequence.
Yep. So you see a Wasteland here. So Wasteland's going to take out Martin's non-basic. Martin's going to draw a
Bayou.
So let's see if he's going to move in this turn. I mean, we don't really know the reason he didn't move in last turn, but he assumes that Michael has something.
Well, we got to do something with this witness right now, right? So, like,
yeah, you have to do something because of Death Ray Shaman.
Yeah.
Yep. You'd make some sort of move with it.
Yeah, just like last turn, I still think witness back Thoughtseize, don't cast it is where I would go first.
Yeah. So you see basic forest here. Let's see, Bayou, Eternal Witness here. Martin going to get back the Thoughtseize.
Yeah, I would just, again, still just say go here.
Yeah, I don't think you want to trade this with a Flusterstorm.
No, he gets a Flusterstorm.
Okay,
Or rather, he gets a Thoughtseize next turn and not care about Flusterstorm, get his Learn into play.
Yep.
And then we are drawing quite live from there.
So we're going to see a Liliana of the Veil here from Michael. And, you know, if you're Martin, you're looking at a couple lands in your hand. I don't think he cares too much about that. Things can get out of control with that card, but we're not there yet. And it does take a couple turns for that to occur.
And in the meanwhile here, it does look like we're going to get to stick a Learn next turn.
Yeah. Interesting. He's going to fight over this. That's surprising to me.
Yeah, especially when, again, it's the...
I mean, I feel like he's trying to maybe bait him into Flusterstorming it, but...
Yeah, again, I don't know why you're turning on this Flusterstorm. I mean, this is still fine because he gets to, you know, Liliana +1s here. He gets to, or no, now he's short on mana. If he gets +1, he might not be able to Thoughtseize and Learn in the same turn.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to see the Flusterstorm. Yeah, I don't particularly love this line of play.
Yeah. Feels like you're playing right into the Liliana now.
No, he's going to discard Liliana.
So now we need to draw a land to be able to Thoughtseize.
Yeah, if that was his plan of Thoughtseize you plus the other thing, now he needs to draw a land to be able to do it. So, an attack for 2 right into Liliana.
Sure.
Okay. He's going to Thoughtseize.
Okay, so we're going to get a Spell Snare.
Okay. So does Martin have the 4th land? Now he has a
Just
Cabal
do a
Therapy.
therapy. Yeah, I guess therapy's okay to...
Yeah, that's okay to discard.
Yeah.
The issue here now is what happens if Michael draws a Wasteland or a Life in the Loam?
Yeah.
So we see he draws a card, he draws
Abrupt Decay.
Goes up to 3. He discards a land, so the card in Michael's hand is a mystery.
The factory
Factory get activated. So now by Michael activating the factory and having 1 card in his hand, Martin doesn't have to play around Force Will anymore because he could have hardcast Force Will with Deathrite Shaman plus the 4 lands. So I think all systems are go for a Learn right now. I mean, he could flashback Cabal Therapy and name Counterspell, a card that he knows Michael has in his deck.
Yep. Although the fact that, you know, I think the fact that Michael did not Deathrite Shaman the therapy out of there is an indicator that he's not, the last card in his hand is not something he cares about getting therapied away.
Sure. All right. Now he's going to cast Intuition. I'm very confused. Why we're not just windmill slamming a Learn on an empty board.
Yeah.
And why we're so intent on trying to grind him down. Whereas if he plays a Learn right now, you know, he does have to discard the Intuition, but he has a million live draws.
Right. Yeah, a lot of his play seems internally inconsistent. Like, if Learn's in...
He can't get a Learn off the board, and they have access to deck
And now he's trying to, like, loam him or something? I guess loam is not a horrible angle to take here. But again, like, you have a window just to stick a Learn, and how fast is... I guess his clock's not that slow.
I mean, the thing...
But if his clock's not that slow, then you certainly don't have the time to, like, be messing around with this loam stuff.
Yeah, like, how good is this... Like, how good is searching for a loam when there's a Deathrite Shaman on the table? Like, you know, he's going to go, all right, tap, remove the Vorash Stronghold, and now on my turn I can just remove the life from the loam.
Yep.
And so now Michael draws a card. I'm not sure what it is. And so now, yeah, Chase the Mind Sculptor.
Now we're in some real trouble.
Now Liliana doesn't get activated, which certainly had to be a mistake. And again, now he can do the play of, all right, play a Learn, play a fetch land.
Yep. And now we actually have a shuffle even if we get Fate Sealed and left on top.
Yeah. Michael draws his card. He's going to take a look at a Learn, see what it does. And we'll be able to bring a Learn up on the screen for you guys again. For those who weren't here for the feature match that we did earlier, it makes the players cast the card. Casting cost 3 or less, you can actually play for free at instant speed, but it is symmetrical, so it is both players. We're going to see a Fate Seal here again.
There's a Taiga on top that he's going to leave, assuming Martin's going to shuffle this one away.
We're going to see a Standstill. So a Standstill for Michael, clearly going to resolve. And now, I mean, back-to-back very nice draws here from Michael, but I mean, the card's in your deck for a reason.
Yep.
So we're going to see a sack of the fetch land here to clear the Jace.
We're not getting frisky with the factory.
Now it looks like he's holding off to activate the black end of
Sure.
Black End of Deathrite Shaman. That's what it looks like. Start just doming him that way, because Martin is a 10.
Well, you could just send your Deathrite Shaman and attack with your factory.
Okay, sure, just act that way.
Yeah.
Sure, okay. That's
He uses his
reasonable
fetch
as well.
line, he dies in 3 turns.
Yeah, that's reasonable as well. So Martin is actually down to 9. Yeah, so it's a 3-turn clock. Yep. Martin going through his graveyard.
All right. Well, we have some live draws, that's for sure.
Draw a card. Martin draws Force of Will.
That is not one of the good ones.
Card that he can't even cast.
Can't cast, and it's going to be really on the way anyway.
So there goes a Cabal Therapy, knocking Martin down to 7. And we're going to see a lot of different plays here from Michael this turn.
A lot of triggers in play.
Yeah. See Polluted Delta coming to play, Liliana going up, Forcible going down. Jace going up. Gonna take a look. That's going on the bottom.
I believe that was a brainstorm that just got put down there.
Okay. We're gonna see Factory come in and put Martin down to 5. And again, I'm a little bit surprised here that Deathrite Shaman. Okay, never mind. Deathrite Shaman Mana is up.
Yep.
So
All right. I think this has got to be Imperial Recruiter or Brainstorm.
Well, he's down to 5, so there's 3 intuition.
Oh boy.
Okay.
All right, so we break the standstill.
Hit 1.
Spell
hit
Pierce.
2, hit
Mrs.
3,
Factory, standstill. We're going to game 3.
I'm going to kill you now.
Yep.
Spell Pierce.
All right.
Pay it.
We'll do the idiot check. All right. Yeah. Passed.
Yeah, that's a tabernacle check, I guess.
All right.
So we see Martin's going to search for Imperial Recruiter. We're going to go through the chain here for you guys. Imperial Recruiter is going to search for a Dream Stalker. Actually, it's going to probably search for the second Imperial Recruiter, excuse me. Even though Michael is tapped out, so there's no breaking up of this, but it's going to search for the other one. It's going to search for a Dream Stalker here. As he's explaining it to Michael as well, Dreamstalker is going to pick up an Imperial Recruiter. Imperial Recruiter is going to trigger again. It's going to search for a Cavern Harpy. Cavern Harpy's gating ability is going to return the Dreamstalker. Dreamstalker is going to return the Imperial Recruiter again. Imperial Recruiter going to trigger again. It's going to search up Parasitic Strix.
A menagerie of dum-dums that all lead to a dead opponent.
They sure do. An artifact creature bird. Caw, caw.
Yeah.
Not quite caw go, but going to get the job done today.
Yeah.
And as Michael looks over exactly how the combo works, Cavern Harpy is going to bounce Parasitic Strix back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
It's hard to believe that it works this way, but it does.
Yep. Are you not entertained?
Game 3. And that is the power of Alluring right there, from unlike High Tide or Storm or Charbelcher, where if you're light on resources, it's hard to go anywhere. This card, this deck is, just 0 to 60.
Checking in on some of the other top 8 matches here, Tim Edgar with his Rug Delver deck wins 2-0 over Robert Hunsacker and his Maverick deck. So congratulations to Tim Edgar, moving on to the semifinals today.
Awaiting our winner of our Blue-White-Red Miracle versus High Tide match, which presumably will not be short. If history is any indicator, this will take a bit.
Deep into the evening.
Yes.
Restaurants will be closed. You will not eat dinner. You will like it.
I got some lamb shish kebab on my break. So
Oh, how was that?
it was tasty.
Okay.
It was tasty.
That sounds
They
fun.
said it was gonna be spicy and it wasn't really. So
Oh,
that's a knock.
it's a tough life.
Yeah, it is. No kidding.
Yeah. So we see Martin shuffling for game 3. He's derobed a little bit. He's taking
Yeah.
the sweater off. It's
Yeah.
certainly game time now.
Yeah. It's business time. As we can hear the downpour from the stereotypically damp Seattle skies.
Seattle's lovely, isn't it, this time of year?
Yeah. It was warm and pleasant the whole weekend.
Yeah.
It was actually neither of those things.
Yeah.
It was cold and damp.
You know what I like? Being dry.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's not a great place to live if you like that.
Yeah. But I thought you were arguing yesterday that the rain's overstated.
I don't
and that's just
remember.
the
I don't
thing.
remember what you're
That would
talking
keep
about.
tourists from settling in.
Could be
and
overstating
da-da-da-da.
it. Could be overstating it right now, couldn't I?
Yep.
No idea. They can't hear the rain, only you can.
Yeah. You don't know. I don't know how long the con is, I guess. So who,
And really, who can?
Yeah.
Just don't move here because it's horrible. So we see both players shuffling each other's decks back and forth. We are going to have a game 3 underway here shortly. Still think it's in Martin's favor?
Yeah, I mean, I like it from his end. I certainly like it a lot more when there's 4 Thoughtseize in the deck.
Sure.
And these games are complicated, man.
They're very complicated.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm questioning a lot of Martin's plays, and there's a reasonable chance I'm just dead wrong, and there's things I'm not understanding about the matchup.
Sure.
Wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last, you know?
All right, so we see both players examining their opening hands. Michael considering keeping 7. Martin. I think Michael has come to the decision to keep 7. Martin, on the other hand.
The classic furrowing of the brow and scrunching of the nose,
Yes.
indicating a borderline hand, perhaps.
Or for Josh Ravitch, a snap keep,
Yeah.
trying to trick your opponent.
Or it just being a way that you engage with the outside world.
Yeah. As we see Michael Lee with a tropical island
And a
Deathrite Shaman.
I think he actually can ramp into a fast Liliana.
It's a dangerous play. It's a great play in this matchup too. Starting to attack Martin's hand. Coiling Oracle, the draw step for Martin. Looks like he's pretty land heavy. Jeez.
Yeah.
Looks like he's okay. So I see an Imperial Recruiter in the back. I guess he Cabal Therapy as well. Oh, Thoughtseize. Okay, that changes a few things here.
Yeah.
Looks like it may be the Ravit's pump fake.
We have a handful of cards of dubious utility.
So we're going to see a Spell Pierce, a Life from the Loam, an Abrupt Decay, a Lily on the Veil, and a Mishra's Factory. And so he was not going to be able to play the turn 2 Lily on the Veil based off of the current hand. He could, of course, draw Black Source.
Oh, I guess his plan for next turn was to loam.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that is a hand that's a little bit all over the place. Okay, so he would have drawn the Misty Run Forest to cast Liliana on turn 2.
Yeah.
But instead, it looks like he'll just be able to loam back 2 lands. So still a pretty good turn nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah, the fetch land's a very good draw there, obviously, if he was planning on loaming anyway.
Yeah. So we'll see an Underground Sea here. Michael gonna knock himself down to 18.
Yep.
So he left him just for 1 land.
Okay, so we're doing something with the Deathrite Shaman, I guess? Oh, we're leaving up.
Leaving with Spell Pierce.
Okay.
It's a unique play.
In another one of our brackets, Matt Pavlik playing Junk won 2-0 over Riyad Alawar, so he's advancing to the semifinals, awaiting the winner of this match.
So Martin's going to draw an Intuition this turn. So first 2 draw steps pretty good for Martin, and Coiling Oracle and Intuition. We'll see a Coiling Oracle go on the stack. Can't Spell Pierce that. And I'll learn the 3rd draw step.
All right. Michael is now fully aware of what lies ahead.
Almost certainly a Ravit's pump fake now. Very good draw steps here for Martin. Intuition's even going to be able to clear the path with Cabal Therapy if that's the route that he wants to go.
Yeah.
And that's something that...
Yeah, I mean, Deathrite Shaman can break up a little bit of it, but he'll still get to keep 1 Oracle plus
a Cabal
Therapy in the graveyard plus Cabal Therapy in hand.
Yeah.
And then, you know...
Ooh, but we have a standstill here.
You know, Michael has some... I mean, he has some removal, but he doesn't... And a Pierce, but he doesn't have Force of Wills. The Force of Wills are counterspells he needs to really hold back, you know.
Yeah. You know, right now Michael's only source of permission is just a Spell Pierce. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, we could likely see Martin here just play land, say go, break Intuition on the end step. For those Cabal Therapies that we saw earlier in this match. Yeah. It looks like that's what we're going to see as we saw Michael draw a card. Michael draws Mishra's Factory.
I mean, he has enough lands in hand where he can actually break the standstill with an Intuition in 2 turns.
Okay.
And be able to pay for the Spell Pierce that he knows about.
Sure. So I guess what's the rush, really?
Right. You know, his life, you know, he's got time here.
And coming across with a Factory here, Martin, putting him down to 16.
Yep. Although I guess he can just break, he can actually Intuition right now. Mm-hmm. If he gets pierced, It means he doesn't have to worry about counterspell. I guess he doesn't have it. At that point, he just doesn't have intuition.
I'm just gonna all systems go. Easy. Okay, so he's shuffling his deck. Stancel's gonna break. Hit 1, Jace. Hit 2, Liliana. Hit 3, Wasteland.
Yeah, so if Martin just goes for it here, that's it. Because if the intuition resolves, he goes against in three therapies. He can see that the Emperor has no clothes, and then kill him. And if Michael pierces, then he can decide to just go for it. And in that case, again. And Martin's body language seems like he's just gonna rip it off here.
Yeah, I mean, last game he didn't go for it. Like he didn't put a learn in, you know, naked or anything when he had the opportunity to. So I'm gonna be a little surprised if he actually does pull the trigger this time.
Well, circumstances are a little bit different. Michael's seen fewer cards. He knows that a lot of the contents of his hand are don't do anything.
Sure.
This is one of those things where it's always easier being in the booth than on the table.
It sure is.
Martin actually just wins on the spot if he rips it off.
I don't think he's gonna do it. I think he would have led with Taiga if he was gonna rip it off.
Well, I guess if he has another intuition in his hand, I don't know. If he was going to go down this road, I probably would have waited on breaking that. Like, if you knew that he was going to cast the spell pierce that he had, and you knew that you weren't going to cast the Allurant, then why not wait until you can at least pay for the spell pierce on the intuition?
Yeah, I agree. Because now he's getting himself in a bit of a tough spot now. So we're going to see Wasteland here.
All right. Well,
Float of blue.
and now we're going to intuition, I guess.
Yeah, I think we're intuitioning here almost assuredly. But I do agree with you overall. Basically, the point of, you know, if you're going to break the standstill, then it seems like you're going to windmill slam your card next turn because you just have no fear.
Yeah, I mean, you knew that you knew about the pierce. You knew that was happening.
Yeah. So we're going to see Cabal therapy here. Therapies in and around. Here comes the factory. Here comes a pumping of the factory. Now we could see an abrupt decay here on the Coiling Oracle.
Yep. Now we're just going to say go.
We don't even see that, so you can't even stop the Cabal therapy. So now just all systems are now here.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
Martin.
now we're going to just see what's up and kill him. And
Yeah,
we just do
major
a force will. Okay,
yeah.
so. Although he doesn't actually have a blue card to pair with it. But, yeah, I think you just... I mean, now we're here, right?
Yeah.
We've come this far.
Take a look. Now, it could be a question of what to name. I think it's easy to say Force of Will is an easy name here, but Spell Pierce is a very real thing here as well.
Yep.
So, all right.
All right.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
combo. This is classic.
No, Abrupt Decay does not do anything here.
No. Here, I'll prove it to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Here, you have Abrupt Decay. I'll prove it to you that it doesn't do anything. Ready? And here we go.
So yeah, he did name Force of Will with the...
I feel like Yakety Sax should be playing right now. Martin moving all the guys to the front here. So I'm not going to waste too much of your time.
Knucklehead
I promise.
parade.
Yeah. Recruiter. Trigger. Recruiter. Trigger. Recruiter. Dreamstalker. Who are you going to Abrupt Decay? Pick a recruiter, any recruiter.
Yeah, please target. You may target one of them.
Dreamstalker. Recruiter. I will get Cavern Hoppy. I will pick up one of these two Dreamstalkers. Go ahead, kill one. feel free. He's gonna kill that. All right, I'll pay a life.
Okay.
I'll pick that up. And there it is. Okay.
All right.
Some people just need to see the iteration, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because it is a little wacky. A bunch of cards that it would be reasonable for a competitive Magic player to not be that familiar with. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
So Martin Goldman-Kirst, with his Unlearn deck, back-to-back top 8s here in Seattle at the Legacy Tournament. He's on his way to the semifinals this time. He bowed out in the quarterfinals last time we were here, but he's moving along, looking for a trophy.